Another PVT. That's a lot of PVTs. Holy cow.
Yes, lots of
We're
PBTs. I
3-2
like
right now,
PBT.
right?
Yes, 3-2 in favor of Deimos.
Alright.
Alright guys, we are in the game. And up here in the top right side of the map, Way Station. Again, one of the newer maps into the ladder map pool for this season. Playing for his respective clan, going by the name of Overdosed. For Overdosed, as I just recently stated. I don't know why I stated it again, I guess because I felt like it. The red Protoss player, we have Alexander. I'm going to tie up the clan war. And down here, in the bottom left side of the map, merry-go-round for his respective clan of Deimos Esports Community. The blue Terran player, it's AZK. As I'll just call him AZK, probably, because I'm not going to make a fool of myself. Or maybe I already am making a fool of myself. And you know what? In that case, I don't care.
Just call him Ask.
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 Okay. Ask. Yeah, I could. Fair
Close enough.
Yeah. Alright, well, nothing too out of the ordinary. Ask, not sending out any kind of SCV for proxy 2 racks at all. So everything's looking standard from here. Alexander, not proxy 2 gating. We could definitely see a proxy, though. That's definitely not out of the question. And there's that 12 barracks coming down from Ask. Is it going to be 12 gas as well? Yes, it's going to be that 12 gas. So Reaper Expand going to be coming out here for Ask, which she's going to be feeling nice and confident about. Going to be able to get all these scouting information. 14 gas so far from Alexander, so everything is perfectly fine. Again, no proxies or anything. Again, proxies could definitely show up later. And Alexander is going to scout Ask. The final position he checks is, you know, this map is kind of weird in the way that it's a 3-player spawn map instead of a, say, 2, where you already know where your opponent is, or a 4, where you have to check 2 locations potentially before you find your opponent. In this scenario, you only have to check 1 place before you know where your opponent is. So it's a bit of a different map, and I like it. I like the fact that these map makers are starting to get really, really creative with the number of spots your opponent can spawn in, and just the terrain, the overall layout of these maps. So this is really nice. We've got the cybernetic score coming down now for Alexander. Reaper on the way for Ask now as well. Gonna go ahead and see that the Protoss player is not up here, and he's gonna say, alright, fine, I know where to send that Reaper now. Another probe coming out, though, by Alexander, so is this gonna be for a proxy? It's looking like it more and more. There's another probe just gonna sit down here. There's 2 probes out on the map. I think this is gonna be for a proxy by Alexander here. I don't see why it wouldn't be. He had that probe selected. He's not going to do anything with it. He's going to send this probe in here first to make it look there's nothing wrong. The Reaper going to be able to kill this probe. And there goes the pylon down here from this probe. So it's going to be interesting. Ooh, not killing the probe, though, is that Reaper. So this probe going to get in here and see, ooh, if I go proxy Stargate or proxy DTs, it's going to do a ton of damage. And we've seen this proxy Stargate location used before. And I think this is a spot where Terran players, if you're a Terran player right now and you're looking at this spot saying this is Imba, you need to remember to scout there. If you're feeling very conscious about a proxy Stargate, you need to check that spot, because that's most likely where it's going to be. This Zealot getting a hit off on the Reaper, and I think Ask knows what's going on. I think he knows it's a proxy somewhere, and I think he's going to go ahead and go start to scout for it. Is he going to see it? Yeah, he's going up there. He should see the pylon, and he should see whatever tech's going to be proxied up here. Not? There's just the pylon, because he just spent all his gas. This Reaper is going to be on its way over there, though, and he will be able to spot the pylon up there. So any kind of proxy tech that Alexander throws down will be scouted, unfortunately. We have Stalker, Zealot, and Mothership Core Aggression moving out across the map, most likely to pull this Reaper back, but I think the Reaper is going to get there in time. It is going to be a proxy Stargate, but it's going to be scouted completely. Ass is going to be able to go ahead and be able to scout that and react accordingly. And so far, the Reaper's going to town on that pylon. These 2 Marines going to hop themselves into the bunker and not take any damage. The Zealot moving forward now. The Stalker, they're just going to go ahead and run by, but these Marines are going to pop out of the bunker here. And there's a Mothership Core here as well. 1 Marine going to die. There's still enough Marines to deal with this Mothership Core. And Alexander's doing a decent amount of damage here. Gets an SCB as well as a Marine. Loses the Stalker. And I think Ask is just going to run back into this bunker. Going to lose a couple more Marines, though, unfortunately for him. And we have yet another probe coming in to put down another pylon, and these units are still inside the base, unfortunately for Ask. Alexander doing way more damage than I thought he would. This Zealot is still alive, man. This Zealot has 3 kills. He finally dies, but this Mothership Core has 4 kills of her own, doing a ton of damage. More and more Marines being forced, though, and I think, ooh, Alexander, you don't want to lose this Mothership Core. You don't want to lose this Mothership Core. No, he's going to lose it. That's not good. Oracle on the way now for Alexander, and I don't like the fact that he lost that Mothership Core. Again, that's really, really, really bad. You wanted that for Photon Overcharge in case of any kind of counterattacks that may come once Ask realizes he holds off this Proxy Stargate. It's going to come in here, but there's already 6 Marines in the mineral line here for Ask, and more than 6, so he's going to be perfectly fine. Twilight Council coming down for Alexander as well as a Forge, so looking to start that Storm, or perhaps even those DTs. These Marines should be able to push this Oracle away. No, actually, a lot of them are on low health, but yeah, that's going to die as well. Alexander, a little bit of sloppy control here. Things were looking really, really good for him, but losing that Mothership Core and that Oracle this early on is not what you want at all. It's not. It's just not. It's just not good for any Protoss player. That's a lot of gas. That's 250 gas, losing 2 units like that to nothing but Marines, which are only minerals for the Terran player. That's definitely worth it for them. The Twilight Council's done now, as well as the Forge. Is Alexander going to throw down that +1 armor, or are we going to see the +1 attack like we've seen every other Protoss player tonight? Mothership Core is once again out and making another Oracle, and I like the fact that he's not going to run it right into the base just yet, keeping that energy. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully use a Revelation here later on, as then he can see the entire army and where it is at any given point in time, which is really, really nice for 60 seconds. And the ping, yeah, he's way oversaturated, yeah. He's going to transfer now. I think he needs to transfer even 4 more probes, but ooh, the Stalker get in the middle of the map may die, and it was going to get away. Alexander could even transfer even more probes from here to his natural and immediately start up those 2 gases as soon as he starts that transfer. That's kind of unfortunate. This turret going to deter this Oracle, and these Marines going to go over here and take out both these pylons, which I believe will supply block Alexander, as well as kill off the Stargate, so no more Void Rays or Oracles or anything of that nature going to be able to come out. Alexander going for the +1 attack again. Every single Protoss player tonight has done this versus Terran, and again, I don't agree with it. I mean, okay, if you're going to play aggressive, then sure, I can definitely see why you're doing it, but if you're playing this Charge Lot Archon Templar style, which you may be seeing from Alexander, the armor is going to benefit you way, way more. This Oracle going to set out here may get killed off here, as Ask is going to go ahead and run under that guy and may kill it, unfortunately. Now, Alexander, man, you got to be paying attention to that Oracle. You don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose it. Okay, he's going to pay attention. He's going to get it out of there. So big, big attack coming across the map now for Ask. Now, Alexander does have enough for that Photon Overcharge. The question is Ask going to go ahead and just run in there and ignore it, or is he going to go ahead and just see what he can do? This Oracle going to town on these Marauders, going to kill 1, but that's not very efficient. Actually, now I'm going to start targeting the Marines that come out, so that's really nice for Alexander. It looks like Ask is going to start rallying, is not going to rally any more units across the map, and here we go. Stimpack's not quite finished. He's going to finish up here just a few seconds. There's only Zealots and a Stock and a Mothership Core here with that Photon Overcharge to defend. Ask is making some really nice stutter step right now, and there goes the Photon Overcharge for Alexander, and Ask is going to be forced back here for now. 4 more gateways coming out now for Alexander, so that will bring him up to a total of 7 gateways. So 8 all in from Alexander as the follow-up from this Proxy Oracle. And this Proxy Oracle, man, he used all its energy, so it does not have enough for Revelation. It has 8 kills to its name, but I don't think it's enough. Medevacs now starting to hit the field for Ask, so this longevity of this bio is going to have a lot of longevity, and we've got this Templar Archives on the way now for those High Templar, and again, I would rather you have the armor first instead of the attack. It just makes more sense with this type of style. And again, if Ask spots this, man, those Widow Mines could start to come out and do a ton of damage. It's really, really scary for a Protoss, those Widow Mines. It's just Mass Zealot here by Alexander. He does have charge. He does have charge. That's definitely something to keep in mind, and Ask is going to have to perform some really sick Stutter Step micro. Photon Overcharge is not quite ready yet, but Stutter Step going to have to be used here by Ask, which will buy Alexander just enough time where if this push is not killed off, if another Photon Overcharge will be available. More units coming from the back row here for Ask. 1 attack is done for those Zealots. They're doing a lot of damage. 1 attack not quite done for Ask, and Ask is trying to micro his heart out right now. All these Zealots are going to complete town. More and more Zealots being warped in here by Alexander. And again, Ask is trying to multitask in multiple places. These Zealots are so low, but there's more and more coming up here. All these units, 2 Marauders are going to be saved, and all these Zealots, man, going to town. There's nothing but Zealots on the map right now for Alexander. Everything Zealot, Mothership Core, and now 4 Templar being warped in. The Storm has just now begun, so Storm's going to be up in a little while. So Ask still has a little bit of a timing window before that's done. 3rd Command Center coming down now for Ask, and the +1 armor is on the way as well. We have the robotics facility transition here by Alexander, looking to start that Colossus tech very early. about 7 Templar on the field for him, but no Storm just yet, as Storm research is not quite complete. And where is Alexander's army? I don't think he has had enough economy here to really pump out this many units, because his army seems very, very small. Like, this is all he has. Look at Alexander's army. This is a very, very scary army. The scan coming down. I think Ask now knows what he's playing against. Yeah, starts that Widowmine production immediately, as well as a second factory about to finish. So this Widowmine's going to make things very, very scary for Alexander. Those Zealots can't just charge in all willy-nilly. Otherwise, they will take a ton of damage from those Widowmines. +2 attacks starting now for Alexander's. Templar starting to be strewn across these bases for feedbacks and storms to really set Alexander up in that defensive position so drops can't do anything. This Widowmine starting to hit the field now for Ask, 3rd Command Center, finishing now for Ask. Alexander's Nexus about halfway completed now, and Storm research is done, and there's a lot of energy for Storm here. These Templar have been building up Storm for quite a while. The pings, don't know.
Saturation.
Oh, the oversaturation. Yeah, okay, I just saw it. Yeah. He's way oversaturated. I think once he realizes the 3rd base is done, he may start to transfer those. And we got the robotics bay on the way now. Ooh, a double drop though, picking off a Templar here for Ask. And a Storm going down though will force these units out of there. Alexander doing a decent job with that Templar, not forgetting about him. And that Widowmine gonna die. Didn't do too much, but these double Medivacs may die on their way out, unfortunately. And yeah, these Widowmines coming down, it really scares the Protoss player when you see Widowmines. Ooh, some feedbacks going on some Medivacs, though, killing one of them, bringing one very, very, very low. And Ask has a pretty formidable army right now. With these Widowmines, it's very, very scary for Alexander. Again, these charge lots can't just say, yay, and run in there and start to kill everything, because unfortunately, there's Widowmines. They will take a ton of damage, again, if they do. And I think Alexander sees the 3rd base of Ask. Yes, he does. So he knows everything that's going on right now. 4 Widowmines out at a time here for Ask, at least in production. Widowmines slowly being pushed forward to really start to entrench this Terran position. And there's no Colossi. There's 4 Stalkers here to really start picking away at these Widowmines. But I don't know if that's enough, as Ask, man. Ooh, Zealot counterattack going across the map for Alexander. And here we go. These Widowmines going to start to be moved forward. Storm going down on them. One Storm will not kill them outright. And those Zealots going forward. You can see just how much those Widowmines do versus those Zealots. Throwing a lot of them away as Alexander, but immediately replacing them with Warpins. And even, I think, throwing about 1 extra one in there. And this is very, very scary for Ask. He has to be careful. He has to be careful. Does not want to get caught out of position by these Templar or these Zealots. And again, these Widowmines being broed here in the middle of the map. But Stim going down. We're actually running all the way back here. Is Ask for, oh yeah, for the Zealot counterattack that's going on. Yeah, these 4 Zealots, looks like they did pull all the SCVs, actually pull the entirety of the army back. Here comes the army for Alexander. Oh my god, those Templar are so exposed. Thank god they're not close to those Widowmines, or else that would be an absolute massacre. Ask is looking for an engagement, but all these Templar have so many Storms, they could just blanket the army and still have plenty of energy for more. 3rd base now secured for Alexander. We have 62 probes to 55 SCVs. Storms starting to go down on those Widowmines, try to kill them off as quickly as he can. More Storms going down. Another defensive Storm. Looks like Alexander may go ahead and back out here with this army just to regroup with what few units he has back at home. And may look to make another push happen here again fairly shortly. Now Ask, a massive Doom Drop coming in for him. This could do a lot of damage. Where's that Templar? That Templar has recouped a lot of its energy. Has about 145 of that energy. Lots of Storm, lots of feedback. Here comes the Medivacs. They're all going to boost in here. How is Alexander going to react to this? The Colossus could be killed immediately. There's only 1 Colossus on the map right now. Storm coming down by Alexander. Another Storm. And as you can see, that 1 defensive Templar aiding a lot in this drop defense. A couple units being moved across the map now for Ask, but not going to be able to do too much as it's a very small force. Probes being killed off, and a lot of these buildings are starting to be targeted. The Nexus being targeted now. If he gets this is going to be really huge, effectively taking him to 2 mining bases, which Ask is on currently, so will bring them to even base counts. Ask really needs to start trying to look to retake that 3rd base as well. And all these charge lots, man, these guys just do not die almost, it seems. Ask has a really large army right now. He's going to go ahead and resecure that 3rd base, and a huge army for Ask. 171 supply, 159. And again, the Protoss is normally down on supply to a Terran as they have to warp in, and their supply, when they go up into supply, it's kind of staggered a little bit. You have 3 defensive Templar, and Nexus being remade, and the main 4th Nexus being created now. And these dropships are still all kinds of loaded with units. Now, Colossi are starting to hit the field as well, and Ask is going to have to really start to take that into account. He does not want to let those Colossi go completely unchecked. Now, here we go. We may have an engagement here. Both players sharkening around, seeing where the other player's army is. And here we go. Alexander coming in from the side here. Decent storm there on the army of Ask. Is he going to be able to do enough damage here? Is Ask. Is he going to be... There's no ghosts. There's no ghosts, which means there's no EMPs at all. So all those shields on all those zealots are going to stay intact, as well as all the energy on the Templar are going to have to be used in completely whiff storms. And now all these SCVs completely idle. And another Doom Drop being loaded up for Ask. Is he going to be able to do enough? There's 3 defensive Templar, though, and I think Alexander's going to be in a good enough spot to go ahead and hold that. All these SCVs now under attack, and Ask is going to be very hard-pressed to hold an attack like this coming out from Alexander. Alexander is on 2-1, whereas Ask is only on 1-1. All 2-2 almost done for Ask, but if we look at Alexander's upgrades, he's got that 3 attack, the Doom Drop coming in here, but looks like the feedback's going down, taking every single medevac out, but one of them, the drop, going to get completely cleaned up. Looks like Alexander going to come in here for the final push. All the SCVs going to die. The Zealot's taking a lot of damage from those Widow Mines, though. Another base trying to be secured. A storm going down, not hitting much of anything by Alexander. And is Alexander going to be able to break this? This is the big question. If he breaks his army, that's it. These Colossi still going completely unchecked. Really good storms there by Alexander. Ask not reacting just quite as well as we would like to see, but unfortunately, this isn't looking too good, although a lot of these Zealots have been thinned out. GG is going to call Astro these Colossi. They had no answer. They didn't have any answer to them. There was no Vikings. There was no Vikings.
That was a pretty even game.
Yeah, it was definitely a very even game. And I think another big turning point there at the very end was when those like 5 medevacs flew in the base of Alexander and the feedbacks went down and killed every single one but 1 medevac.
Yeah.
That was another really big a big point.
One thing I really liked out of the Protoss, I don't know if you saw or not, but he had very, very good observers spread out across the map.
Yes, those observers were very, very nicely placed.
He just stared at his opponent's army for as long as he wanted.
Yeah, he was just literally sitting over his entire army saying, okay, here's your composition, here's your upgrades, I know what I can do while still playing safe.
I had mixed feelings about the opening because we saw a couple things. Like, one thing we saw was the proxy Stargate, and that was failed pretty hard because Ask countered it well. And then the other thing, though, is that Alexander got in with the Zealot, the Stalker, and the Mothership Core and killed so many Marines. Killed like 15 Marines or something ridiculous.
Yeah, he killed it.
So there was a very blow-for-blow mixed even opening. So I think Ask just evened it up, didn't he?
Alexander? Yeah, 3-3.
Yeah, Alexander. And that was interesting from Ask with the Widowmine style, the no ghost Widowmine style.
Yeah.
So he went for, instead of like a hyper aggressive drop style, he went for bio with Widowmine. Yeah,
and it's definitely a thing that's useful now because of that Widowmine change with the decent amount of splash damage now done to shields, and I will go ahead and let Deimos use the revive now because it doesn't look like we have too many players left in the lobby. They're in the same position as we are. But yeah, I'll go ahead and let them use the revive now. We may have to actually cut this to a best of 7 because I don't think we have any more players that have played yet.
For Deimos or for us?
For both. Doesn't look like Deimos has too many players. I don't think Odia Cat has too many players left either.
They might want to send us out, but I don't know if that's viable because we're doing this.
It's really not, honestly. It's not too viable. Like, I don't know how well I would do.
If they send you out, it's just me hovering over everything, and if they send me out, then...
There's no stream.
Yeah, there's no stream.
I could turn on my stream, but...
We'll see. Maybe we got more players or something.
Yeah,
and then,
maybe.
And then we've already